Walk with me.
Is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man who the I am imputeth not iniquity, in whose spirit there is no guile. When I kept silent, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Selah. I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and my iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto thee, I am, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin, Selah. For this shall every one that is godly pray unto thee at a time when thou mayest be found. Surely the floods of great waters, they shall not come nigh unto them. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance. Selah. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go, and I will guide thee with mine eye. Be not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, but whose mouth must be held with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusteth in the I am, mercy shall compass him about. Be glad in the I am, and rejoice, ye righteous, and shout for joy, all ye that are upright in heart. Psalms chapter 32. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20, a prayer of Abram. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and those shared platforms, and we thank God for you, you, and you. Yes, all praises belong to the Most High. And we also praise the Most High in our hand clap for those of you that have been with us from the beginning. Yes, God has really blessed you in so many ways, and you can attest to that. You tell me about it sometime, and we thank God for those of you that have come here and there's about also the same. Tell me about how God has blessed you in your mind and your understanding. And all those that you are just about or just subscribe, we thank God for you too. And those of you that are about to subscribe, we thank God for you calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, 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 we thank and praise God for all that he's done. Even as we watch. See, God said you have to watch. Even the prophet in the New Testament, or what they call the New Testament, says watch. You have to watch. You have to watch unto prayer. In other words, God, show me. What are they doing? Why is this going? Because even Roosevelt, the president, has said nothing in government happens by chance. It's all carefully planned. See, that's a great truth. That's deep. See, the government is not going to just haphazardly do things. They're not stupid. No, I'm talking about all governments. Even the crooked ones, all throughout Africa, Asia, Russia, United States, South America, North America. Yes, North Africa, Southern Sahel Africa. Everything is carefully planned. Nothing by chance. Yes, and if it's not planned there, it's planned in heaven first. In other words, it's all established in heaven, even your feast days, your Passover. These were done in heaven. These were done in the realm of God. For some of you that can't see, you call him Sky Daddy and all that, whatever. You done lost your mind. Apparently your understanding is darkened and you're still in darkness and need to see things as they are. God's going to give you a good wake-up call. You're going to get a good wake-up call, so no bother. But we're in the book of Jasher, chapter 32, and we start with verse 69, that even God had brought fear upon Esau for Jacob because of the angels that went against him. See, when God is for you, you don't know how God is dealing with your enemies. I know this firsthand. You don't know you don't know what your enemy sees because God did not show you. I remember one time, I will not say what it was, but this one Caucasian guy, he held a shotgun to my face. pulled back the latch and everything. I mean, he was ready to blow my head off. Okay. But I had so much peace. For some reason, there was peace. I mean, peace that I cannot even fathom with me. I mean, this was peace. Yes, I had a 45 at my side and all this stuff. I could have pulled it, but that's what he was waiting on so he could set me up. But the fact is, I had peace. I didn't have to get that. But the fact is, God, I just looked and I said, what's wrong with you? And he looked, and then I looked into his eyes, and they got wider and wider, like he saw something. I couldn't see it, but I felt peace. And then all of a sudden, he uncocked it real fast and threw it in his trunk and sped off real quick. Something was there that he saw. And from that moment on, I never saw that same person again. And I never thought nothing of it until later when carnality hit me. Oh, man, I should have found him and I should have done something to him. But that's not the case. God had showed me, even up to this point, that you don't know how God is dealing with your enemies. I got all the stories to tell, but you don't know how God is dealing, what they see versus what you don't see. See, Esau saw all these angels. Jacob didn't know what God had did. Jacob did not know what God is. Like they could have millions of bombs pointed toward the United States, but your house could be Goshen, where you dwell, or where you and your people dwell. Whether you're in a compound with, a tribe of people or people set to praise God and worship God, and there can be nuclear fallout all around you, but it will not come near your dwelling. See, God has a way it's past man's understanding. Even the peace of God that surpasses understanding shall keep your hearts and minds if you dwell on his commandments, statutes, laws, and ordinances. Yes. Now, let us continue. Jasher chapter 32 and verse 70. The first one is named Jasher chapter 32a. But this one here, we're going to go into Jasher chapter 33. Now, let's continue. Now, again, Esau, he was afraid to the point where they embraced each other because he felt Jacob was just as powerful as he was, if not more powerful. So he humbled himself Esau humbled himself before Jacob. Jacob was already humble because his mother had tidings of what Esau was about to do. Yes. And she sent people to help Esau to understand these things. Now, and both came together in fear of each other. See how God canceled all that out? Wise is the Most High. He works in circumstances. Sometimes he has to use miracles, but he don't want you taking the glory for that. You see, many of us, we would take, have you noticed some of your pastors and preachers? You come against me and talk against me, God's going to strike you down. What if God strike him down? I would laugh at a man like that with all that. Now, a man that humbled himself and not get up in all that pride and his little robe and his little music playing behind him to excite your emotions. Nah. God works in mysterious ways. That is a true saying. Just be humble. Let God direct your paths. He will deliver whether he wants you to subdue your enemies, to deliver them in your hands, or well, he will do it himself. Or what he would cause your enemy to bow before you and ask forgiveness. And if your enemy asks forgiveness, you have to forgive him. Forgive him. God got him under control. God have already humbled him. However God did it, don't worry about it. You'll find out about it later. Oh, hallelujah. Now, let us continue. And Esau in verse 70 of the 32nd chapter of Jasher 32 and 70. And Esau said unto Jacob, I will place with thee some of the people that are with me to take care of thee in the road and to bear thy fatigue and burden. And he said, what needeth it, my lord, or my brother? He could have said my brother. This is old supremacist English people. If I might find grace in thy sight, favor in thy sight. See, this guy who translated this book is still using the old English. He might have not talked. He might have not talked this way, but apparently he was, should I say, coerced in saying it this way. Behold, I will come unto thee to Seir, to dwell there together as thou hast spoken, and go thou then with thy people, for I will follow thee. And Jacob said this to Esau in order to remove Esau and his men from him, so that Jacob might afterward go to his father's house to the land of Canaan. And Esau hearkened to the voice of Jacob, and Esau returned with 400 men that were with him on their road to Seir. And Jacob and all belonging to him went that day as far as the extremity of the land of Canaan in its borders, and he remained there some time. He said, I ain't staying with this guy. You can't trust him. See, even before we read where Esau, he would lie. Those of his seed. Everybody lies. Not everybody lies, but most people lie. But not like Esau. Esau was like he's like a politician. That's the way he was before his mother and father. Tell you what you want to hear, but in a lie form. You have to see right through him. Now, in verse 33, sometime after, in chapter 33, in verse 1, and sometime after Jacob went away from the borders of the land, and he came to the land of Shalim. That is the city of Shechem. Oh, these Shechem has a nasty history. Now this is the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. And he rested in the front of the city, and he brought a parcel of field that was there from the children of Hamor, the people of the land, for 5 shekels. Now, shekels is in weight. Whether he did shekels of gold or he did shekels of silver. We don't know. It didn't say that. Now, today, shekels are not because of weight. You just get a shekel, and it's just whatever they put in it. And Jacob there built himself a house, and he pitched his tent there, and he made booths for his cattle, and therefore he called the name of that place Succoth. And Jacob remained in Succoth 1 year and 6 months. And at that time some of the women of the inhabitants of the land went to the city of Shechem to dance and rejoice with the daughters of the people of the city. And when they went forth, then Rachel and Leah, the wives of Jacob, with their families, also went to behold the rejoicing of the daughters of the city. Now, this is nothing less than Africans. Africans love to dance. Or should I say, black people in general love to dance. Love, especially among the women. They love to dance. So that's another clue there. Not trying to be proud or anything, but when you have been so bogged down that the people represented here was of another hue and that it didn't matter, why are you still promoting that hue? Make it make sense. So if that's the case, hey, we got to look at it this way. We're going to show you the truth of the matter. In order to free our minds from the, should I say, what we would call our self-hatred, because we think we are lesser, because black is not beautiful to some of you. Even those who are black. But the opposite is true. Black is beautiful. Very beautiful. Now, the wives of Jacob with their families also went to behold the rejoicing of the daughters of the city. And Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, also went along with them and saw the daughters of the city. And they remained there before these daughters, whilst all the people of the city were standing by them to behold their rejoicing. And all the great people of the city were there. And Shechem, the son of Hamor, see, the land was named after Shechem, the son of Haman, or Hamor, the prince of the land, also was standing there to see him. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, sitting with her mother before the daughters of the city. And the damsel pleased him greatly, and he there asked his friends and his people, saying, whose daughter is that sitting amongst the women? whom I do not know in this city. And they said unto him, surely this is the daughter of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the Hebrew, one who crossed, who has dwelt in this city for some time. And when it was reported that the daughters of the land were going forth to rejoice, she went with her mother and maidservants to sit amongst them, as thou seest. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, or Kobe, and when he looked at her, his soul became fixed upon Dinah. Now, some of us men, we in our time in youth or whatever, as we are young, we've beheld some woman that or a young lady, or even in our older age, we beheld some woman that we just so admired. But then when you stare at a woman so hard, or someone so hard, and you cannot have them, a thought comes upon you from an entity that you think is your own thoughts, and you want it. And because, oh, you have power, Shechem. You are the prince of this land, and it's named after you. There is nothing that your hand cannot put its hand to, and that you cannot get by with. But Shechem understood the law of the Most High. He did wrong. All those people then, because they were taught, the law hasn't disappeared. It was still the same law Moses giving to you today. Ain't nobody come and say it was past. Ain't nobody say you heard of them that say of old times. Because the law is love. Because God is love. Why would love give you hatred? Except for you hate that that is evil, which is maybe a part of your enemy. You hate them that hate you. Yes, that is love. Because the fact is a part of eye for an eye is being fair. If you're going to hate me, I'm going to hate you too. And some of you have gotten so brainwashed that those that hate you tell, oh, you're supposed to love me. You're a Christian. You're supposed to love me. Love me. No. God said, hate them. Now, if they come in your auspices and ask forgiveness and become who they're supposed to be, you still have to look at them with a bombastic side eye. You have to look at them that way. But anyway, because you don't know where their heart is. Why are they trying to appease you, or are they trying to appease you? You have to pray about these things. Verse 11, and he sent and had her taken by force. In other words, he took Dinah from her own mother and came to the house of Shechem, and he seized her forcibly and lay with her. In other words, he raped her. This is a sin unto death. There is no forgiveness. He raped her and humbled her. Some of you, what they call run repeated thing with some of these women. You're evil, man, young man. The woman is all in her feelings and for you, and you have a group of men standing outside, and when you've done what you've done, and she's in the dark. These things have taken place in many places. Here comes the whole charade, and all of a sudden the woman realizes that she's being raped. But with this, it's a certain name for that. He raped her. And he loved her exceedingly and placed her in his house. And they came and told the thing unto Jacob. And when Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, he loved his daughter. And Jacob sent 12 of his servants. This is eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Now listen here. To fetch Dinah from the house of Shechem, and they went and came to the house of Shechem to take Dinah from there. And when they came, Shechem went out to them with his men and drove them from his house. In other words, they couldn't overcome Shechem because he was more than them. Now, God has a lot to do with all this. And he would not suffer them to come before Dinah. But Shechem was sitting with Dinah, kissing and embracing her before their eyes. In other words, smiling, just kissing her. Look what I got. You can't get her because my men will kill you. He was kissing her. Little girl. Beautiful little girl, or should I say maybe a teenager, who knows? Maybe she was grown, 18, 19, 20, 21, somewhere, who knows? But anyway, the servants of Jacob came back and told him, saying, when we came, in other words, they didn't just get crazy and lose their lives for no reason at all. They had to come up with a plan. Now he said, when we came, he and his men drove us away, and thus did Shechem do unto Dinah before our eyes. And Jacob knew, moreover, that Shechem had defiled his daughter, but he said nothing. God, how am I going to deal with this man? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But make sure you know what you know. And make sure you can creep around and do those things that are right. And that the eyes that would judge you don't see you. But he said nothing, and his sons were feeding his cattle in the field, and Jacob remained silent until they returned. And before his sons came home, Jacob sent 2 maidens from his servants, daughters, to take care of Dinah in the house of Shechem. In other words, this child been forced upon. And so he sent somebody to help in the house to remain with her. And Shechem sent 3 of his friends to his father Hamor, the son of Chedichem, the son of Pered, saying, get me this damsel for a wife. And Hamor, the son of, she was already apparently he done what a wife, sex is the consummation of marriage. In other words, either you're going to do it and get married, or you're going to sit up there and don't do it and leave it alone. Zip it up, button it up, whatever. Lock it up, whatever you're talking about. See, society has gotten you to think that, man, you're a man of valor because you can seduce every woman and lay with her. Woman, you think that you're the queen and you can get all the money of men, but you makes yourself nothing less than a woman, a call girl. Undesirable. To the point where you give yourself to someone that is not committed to you, and the man, you have not committed to that woman. And you have not gone before her father or her family, or even go before somewhere where your vows can be exchanged in front of a witness. You don't necessarily have to get a marriage license, but you have to make this vow before the Most High, somewhere. And Hamor, the son of Chedichem, the Hivite, came to the house of Shechem, his son, and he sat before him. And Hamor said unto his son Shechem, is there no woman amongst the daughters of thy people that thou wilt take, an Hebrew woman who is not of thy people? In other words, his father knew better. Why are you going to go to somebody else when you can go amongst your own? And Shechem said to him, her only must, see, this was the auspices of devils. They did this to try even Jacob, to try his sons. Her must only get thou for me, for she is delightful in my sight. When lust is conceived, his desire for her was conceived by what? Spirits who had swayed over the thoughts of men's hearts. When lust is conceived, it brings forth sin. There's sin in your heart. You're ready to do an act. You're ready to sin is transgression against the law. You're ready to transgress against the law that you know is right before the Most High. They were all taught these things. And when sin is finished, it brings forth separation. One, separation from God, and it might separate you from your flesh. Or cause you to be separated from your flesh. This is what death means. They have changed the meaning of it all the time. Dying, death, whatever, the process of death is dying. Don't get it confused. They play a word play with you all the time. You go online and look at the definition. They done changed it again. You have to get an older Bible to find out what death means. Okay, let's go again. We're going to wrap it up. And Shechem said to him, her only must get thou for me. We're going to go to verse 19. And Hamor went forth to Jacob to commune with him concerning this matter. And when he had gone from the house of his son Shechem before he came to Jacob to speak unto him. And behold, the sons of Jacob had come from the field as soon as they heard the thing that Shechem, the son of Hamor, had done. In other words, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Don't be afraid. If your family member or your village or your people are worth dying for, the children will live on. And then you will have, it's better to have played Ender's game with your enemy, as these big wigs and these big communities and these countries have done. They put fear on you so that you would not try a thing again. This is Ender's game. That's what they mean by Ender's game. In other words, to prevent your enemy from trying the same thing again. And you have to do the same to them. But you have to figure out a way. How can I look at Vietnam, a country with nothing, but yet they lost many men. But you think the United States and Russia and France and all of them going to come back over there, or either Afghanistan? Oh, you got another thing coming. They put something on them because they had a way. They knew their land. Now let's continue, and then we're going to wrap it up. He says, now men were very grieved concerning their sister. In other words, that's our only sister. And they all came home fired with anger, but they did not act out of that anger. They could have acted out of the anger, and all of them been deleted at that time. That was the setup of the devil or a spirit to have them act out of anger. But no, before the time of gathering their cattle, they were outnumbered. They didn't see a way that they could defeat their enemy at that time. And they came and sat before their father, and they spoke unto him, kindled with wrath, saying, surely death is due to this man, who his household, because the I am, God of the whole earth, commanded Noah and his children that a man shall never rob nor commit adultery. Now behold, Shechem hath both ravaged and commit fornication with our sister. Now look, fornication, that's a Greek word. This is, it would say commit adultery. He's committed adultery. Adultery is that one word. It could mean walking anything that's out of the confines of marriage. Not the confines, but out of the anything apart from marriage that has to do with sexual things, from animals to anything. Anything out of that is called adultery. But now the Greeks have come up with another word called fornication. So this is how he translated it. And committed fornication with our sister, and not one of all the people of the city spoke a word to him. And surely thou knowest and understand that the judgment, now this was grape. In our day and time, this is called graping, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to get past this AI. But anyway, or this, whatever you call this thing they program into their computers. And surely thou knowest and understand that the judgment of death is due to Shechem. In other words, to do this thing, to grape our sister or any other woman, the sentence should be death. Now, you know, back in the 50s and stuff, they deleted black men, but when the woman hollered and there was nothing done, but it's just like Rosewood. She was great, but it wasn't the black man. It was somebody else of her own hue. And with this, we're going to wrap it up. And Shechem to his father and the whole city on account of the thing which he had done. And whilst they were speaking before their father in this matter, behold, Haman, the father of Shechem, came to speak to Jacob the words of this son concerning Dinah. And he said before Jacob and before his sons. And with that, we're going to conclude this and say peace until next time. Yeah.
Walk with me.